ng bagyong Sisendo. Sa pinakahuling talaan ng City Administrator ng Cagayan de Oro ay nasa mahigit 200 na raw ang naitalang patay, habang mahigit 400 naman
ang hirap na
patuloy
pinagdaraanan ng mga taga-Iligan City dahil sa bagyong Sendong. Hindi nila lubusang maisip kung paano babangon sa itinuturing na isa sa mga pinakamabagsik na bagyong humagupit sa bansa. Sa
Ano po
loob ng
Pasko nyo ngayon?
Wala, masakit. Wala kaming Pasko.
Year 2011 could have ended peacefully if not for the typhoon which caught up to steal the year. Typhoon Sendong, regarded as the deadliest disaster of the year, battered Cagayan de Oro and Iligan City, claiming more than 1,200 lives, damaging thousands of houses, while leaving hundreds still missing. Juchi volunteers immediately responded to the disaster, but due to delayed shipments of other goods from Manila, Juchi volunteers can only start distributing to 10,000 families the 20 kilos of rice which has arrived on time, while committing to come back to complete the goods intended for the disaster survivors. Greeting the year with rays of hope, Juchi volunteers went back to Mindanao on the first week of January as promised. Adhering the volunteers' advice to nurture kindness by setting aside coins daily to help in other Chuchi missions and to love Mother Earth by collecting PET bottles for recycling, Cagayan de Oro disaster victims reciprocated Chuchi's kindness by donating PET bottles, most of which are filled with coins for donation to Chuchi. These survivors went home with bags filled with goods to start their lives anew, but most of all, an inspired heart ready to face the year ahead. With Typhoon Sendong being a harsh lesson about life's impermanence and the imminent reality that more disasters are to be expected, Chuchi volunteers in the Philippines heeded Master Cheng Yan's teaching that the way to free the world from disaster should start with purifying people's mind. Looking forward to the threefold celebration of Buddha Day, Mother's Day, and Chuchi's 46th global anniversary, Chuchi Philippines took the opportunity to purify the minds of more individuals by involving the main participants of the event in a 2-month period of intensive rehearsals and immersion to positive teachings. Furthermore, these participants are required to observe a vegetarian diet of 108 meals to uphold the sanctity of the event and to cleanse one's minds of afflictions. Each participant is provided with veggie passport to track their daily accomplishments. With sudden expansion to more than 10,000 intended participants this year from less than 2,000 in the previous years, volunteers are overwhelmed with massive preparation to make the event successful. From promotion and procurement of more crystal Buddha, design and fabrication of oversized offering table, printing and posting of more than 10,000 floor markings in a limited time, completing the identification and house-to-house visits to intended rice beneficiaries, and many more, all added up to the challenges of the event. More challenging still is the involvement of more than 5,000 people of different race, language, culture, and religious background in the Buddha Day celebration. Yet against all odds, the grandiose formation surfaces for the first time in Philippine soil on May 13. Nearly 15,000 people graced the event, witnessing the miraculous outcome as the rain which nearly dampens the celebration ceased after everyone unites in sincere prayer. Serving as a role model for filial piety, the city mayor of Marikina, Honorable Del de Guzman, led the public in celebrating Mother's Day by kneeling down to wash the feet of his father. The city mayor, in recognition of Chuchi Foundation's endless support to the city during and after Typhoon Indoy, presented Chuchi with the first gift by recognizing the second Sunday of May as Chuchi Day in Marikina City. Adding highlight to the celebration, the city government of Marikina presented Chuchi Philippines another recognition, a past city ordinance renaming Barangay Fortunes Azucena Street to Chuchi Street. The event came into conclusion as volunteers together with city officials handed over the sacks of 20 kilos of newly arrived rice from Taiwan to nearly 10,000 indigent families, most of whom came from Marikina City. Aside from Marikina, the rice donated by the Taiwan government to Chuchi Foundation proves to be helpful in uplifting the lives of many of our indigent brothers and sisters. This year alone, thousands of families in San Juan City and Caloocan, Carmona, GMA, and Silang in Cavite, and Rodriguez, Tanay, Baras, Pililia, and Antipolo in Rizal Province received the blessings from Chuchi, which eased their family of financial burden to support their daily needs.
Kaya sa ating mga volunteers, you're very inspiring at nakakasiguro ako na madami kayong nahihikayat na gumawa ng mabuti.
Volunteers conducted ocular visits to identify communities recommended by local officials, while house-to-house visits were conducted to identify the situations of our poor countrymen. Volunteers traveled great distances, hiked rugged roads, crossed raging rivers, trekked suspension bridges just to locate every indigent case, ensuring no one was left ignored. The more volunteers are exposed to the sufferings of our brethren, the more one realizes and cherishes one's blessings, and the more one takes resolve to uphold the bodhisattva path of Chuchi to elevate sufferings. True happiness came upon all, as one after another of successful relief mission, inspiration, and joy were brought to so many families, heading home with a sack filled with rice and a heart filled with love. Nonetheless, monthly relief programs to our long-term beneficiaries and our quarterly relief mission to the coastal dump site residents of Greenland never cease its footsteps, while Chuchi volunteers carried out 50 occasions of fire disaster relief within the year, accounting to nearly 7,000 families given assistance. Addressing the financial burden of sending children to school, especially indigent families, Chuchi Foundation maintains its education assistance to 799 students from Metro Manila and nearby provinces. Giving more students a chance for a better life, former scholars are now helping their families after getting employed in respected institutions, such as the case of Edison Lalemarpo, who currently teaches in National College of Business and Arts. Edison is among the graduated scholars who are now providing steady income to their families. The same is the case for the graduate of Chuchi's Livelihood Training Program, a 4-month training to become efficient garment sewers and dental aides. To date, there are already 191 students in all 5 batches of training who graduated and were introduced to job markets to be employed. In Old Balara of Quezon City, continuous community development projects are also being undertaken, such as support to families through rice distribution, house construction, and the recently concluded lice removal project, which promoted proper hygiene to school children. All these were held alongside waste recycling in the community. The arrival of the rainy season ushered another hectic quarter for Chuchi Foundation. In August, the southwest monsoon once again flooded nearly 80% of Metro Manila and nearby provinces, including Marikina City, and affecting almost all Filipino volunteers. Chuchi Chinese volunteers immediately responded by providing hot meals and more than 20,000 breads to flood victims in several evacuation areas. Relief missions were conducted simultaneously with cash reward programs to help rehabilitate affected communities. Heavy machineries were deployed to hasten cleanup efforts in Quezon City, Marikina City, Casiglahan Village in Rodriguez Municipality, and San Mateo, Rizal. A total of 18,499 man-days of cleanup participants were accumulated across several areas, adopting the casual work program, where participants were paid 400 pesos per day. Embracing Chuchi's spirit of great love and selfless sacrifices for others, hundreds of volunteers in Marikina who were also victims of the flood disaster carried on with their missions to help other communities while leaving behind cleanup works in their own houses.
Salamat po ako kay Master Cheng Yen. Nakilala ko po ang Chuchi Foundation. Hindi po ako nagkamali ng pagpasok dito sa Chuchi Foundation.
Food for Work program was also adopted in the sandbagging activity in Barangay Banaba of San Mateo to help rehabilitate the eroding riverbank which is threatening houses nearby. To hasten the cleanup efforts, more than 300 volunteers from Marikina City marched to Barangay Banaba of San Mateo, Rizal to help in the cleanup drive. With Chuchi's invaluable help, the San Mateo government, led by its mayor Jose Rafael Diaz, recognized the charitable group during the municipality's 431st founding anniversary.
It is because of the Chuchi Foundation. Aangklo tayo sa espiritu ng bayanihan.
Grateful for the aid they received, many residents in Barangay Banaba adopted Chuchi coin cans, where nearly 800 residents attended the 30th Filipino Volunteers Seminar. More Mariqueños also showed their willingness to join the rank of Chuchi volunteers, as they constantly attend volunteer seminars. To date, gray uniforms have also been awarded to 168 volunteers this year, while 10 Filipinos have been newly certified as commissioners and paid course by Master Cheng Yen. Early in 2012, Chuchi Recycling Program moved on to cover almost all communities in San Mateo, where Filipino volunteers promote environmental protection and collect recyclables. On All Saints' Day, the unveiling dedication of these volunteers was more evident during the 3-day recycling drive in major cemeteries in Metro Manila, as they collected recyclables and pushed for the advocacy of educating people to avoid littering and to recycle. With the aim of bringing dental care more accessible to the poor, the foundation recently held its 200-leg mobile dental mission. This time, dental service was made available to the inmates of San Juan City Jail. 17 Chuchi International Medical Association or TIMA dentists and Chuchi volunteers came all the way from Taiwan to help and even donated 5 new portable dental equipment to Chuchi Philippines. Further, the 201st Mobile Dental Service has been a cumulative effort of Chuchi dentists and volunteers from the Armed Forces of the Philippines as they gave free tooth extraction, restoration, and oral prophylaxis to over 400 residents in San Mateo, Rizal. A total of 27 mobile dental services were conducted within the year, benefiting 1,680 patients. To extend its medical services, Chuchi Philippines conducted 2 major medical missions this year, serving more than 4,000 patients under pediatric, general medicine, dental, ophthalmology, and surgery. Among the grateful patients was 65-year-old Berto Escuerdo, who endured a huge lamp on his right arm for 30 years. Through the medical mission, he availed of a mass removal operation for free. On the other hand, Chuchi Eye Clinic continuously gives services such as weekly consultation and monthly eye surgery, while Chuchi Foundation simultaneously works out preparation for the development of its eye center to serve more indigent patients. This year alone, a total of 8,000 patients were served and were given free operation and treatment for cataract, pterygium, glaucoma, squint, and corneal and retinal problem. Such is the case of 87 years old Leonardo Oropia, whose right eyesight was saved from cataract by specialists in Chuchi, Philippines. Oropia's happiness was shared by 69 other patients who were operated on during the 154th medical mission sponsored by the Chiang Kai-shek College Alumni Association, Batch 21. extensive donation campaigns for the Eye Center have been initiated by Chuchi Philippines. The Eye Center solicitation booklet is introduced to Filipino volunteers to help inspire small contributions from the public. A concert for a cause of Israel's most renowned singer David Eo also gathered the support of more than 1,000 people. A two-day grand charity bazaar entitled Restoring Sight, Inspiring Lives solicited solid support from donors and shoppers alike. Over 100 supporters donated mostly 100% or a huge percentage of their sales, including the scholars and aid beneficiaries, making it their way of giving back to the organization's kindness. Master Cheng Yen often reminds Chuchi volunteers that there are two things in life that we cannot hold back: the passing of time and impermanence. In the face of disasters and diverse challenges, Chuchi volunteers keep true to their faith by inspiring sincere kindness within. More challenges are sure to come our way, but we believe as long as we are united in hearts, we could be the starter ship that braves the wind and billows, sailing toward a better tomorrow. Chuchi Foundation sincerely invites everyone to light up the lamp within our hearts and be the guiding light for people living in the dark.